how to use multiple credit cards and pay them off faster. If somebody told me I could use multiple credit cards and pay my credit cards off faster, I would have thought they were nuts. But after learning Velocity Banking and being an ex-banker, an ex-branch manager, and an ex-business banker, I have learned a different way to run money where you guys can get yourself out of debt faster, just like I did by using lines of credit. And I started with credit cards. You can use multiple credit cards to get yourself out of debt faster. Now, in Velocity Banking, we typically like you to use one credit card to start with that card, and then roll other cards in because it will be the fastest way to get you out of debt, saving the most interest. However, under certain circumstances, sometimes you guys need to take two cards instead of just one and use two cards to work down debt. And a lot of times that is because your limits can be a problem. And if you guys are maxed out and very close to your limit, that can present a problem to you, because we know that when you overpay a card or you pay more than what the minimum is, sometimes these credit card companies will lower your limits. And we want to avoid doing that. Well, one way that we can avoid doing that is by micropaying. And I talk to you guys about micropaying all the time, is by taking the available income that you have that you want to put on that card and dividing it up throughout the month so that you're not putting too much money, per payments period on that card, which would trigger the bank to lower your limit. So that typically happens when you pay more than your normal payment that you're supposed to make. So if you're making $220 on a card like this, if you're making a $220 payment per month, and all of a sudden you come in and you make a $500 payment, a lot of times the bank's going to cut your limit. So in order to avoid that, we divide that payment up into multiple payments per statement cycle. And that a lot of times will stop the bank from triggering that. The typical trigger is paying more than your normal payment, okay? So that can sometimes work for you, micropaying. But the other thing that you guys can also run is a multiple card strategy, where you take two cards and you divvy up your income between two cards. And that's what I'm going to show you today, how to run it with multiple cards. All right. So you guys have seen these numbers. I did a video the other day on these where we had an income of $4,300, total expenses of $4,160. We had rent and car payment of $1,510 and $392. We have cash flow of $140, and the rent and the car payment between the two of those is $1,902. We have a Capital One, a Chase, and a Discover card. And in our previous video, we had taken the Capital One card so that we could get back this larger payment to us, okay? So we wanted to do this larger payment and get that back. Now, in today's case, we're struggling, okay? So in this scenario here, we're struggling because we have limits that we're maxed out on, okay? So we're maxed to our limit, we're really high. And so we can either micropay or we can do a split card strategy. So what we've decided is to do a split card strategy. So what does that look like? So now we know that we can't put the rent and the car payment on a credit card. Can't do it, okay? So it's a feature of a credit card. You can't put other cards on a credit card. You can't put other loans on credit cards. You certainly can't put your mortgage or your rent on it. In most cases, some of you can, but we're going to say we can't. So we know we have to hold that out of our income and leave it in our checking account to be run through our checking account, okay? Because that's the only way we can pay it is through the checking account, through auto draft or whatever. Or write a check, which is really antiquated, right? We know it's usually auto debit. Okay, so we have to leave those in there. And we also know that we have to hold back these credit cards here into our checking account because we can't pay those on a credit card. Now, we're only going to hold back one though in this case. We are going to leave the Discover out and we're going to put the $90 in our checking account along with the $1,902. We're going to leave it in our checking account and we're going to calculate what our available income is that we can run on our two credit cards, right? Not one, but two this time. So what we've decided to do is we're going to take our available income, which is our total income, the $4,300. We have to hold out the $1,902 because that has to be left in our checking account. We can't use that as available income to put on our card. And we have to hold out the $90 from Discover because we can't use that either. We have to hold that back into our checking account to be paid from the checking account. So that means available to us to split between our cards is going to be the $2,308. We can split that between two cards because we are getting this 120 back to us, and we're getting back the 220 to work that down, to help work our cards down as income into those cards, all right? Because we're overpaying these cards. We're going to put more income than the 220. We're going to put more income than the 120, or more payment, okay, in terms of our income. So it's going to satisfy that payment. So we no longer owe that payment once we put our income payment in. So we have 2308 that we can split between these two cards, all right? So more is going to go in than the minimum. And again, chargeable expenses, well, our chargeable expenses are the same, okay? They're no different, because here, the 4160 is our total expenses, okay? Chargeable expenses are our total expenses minus the non-chargeables, all of them. All of these are non-chargeable. This is all non-chargeable. So we have to account for all of these. So the 1902 is subtracted from the 4160, and the 220 and the 120 and the 90. All of them are non-chargeables. So our chargeable expenses then, okay, so our chargeable expenses equal the total expenses minus the non-chargeables are 1828. So 1828 is then going to be split up between these two cards. So we're going to run two cards with different expenses, and we're going to run them, we're going to put two different amounts, or income amounts, into them. We all know that if you divide them evenly, okay, it would be, for income, available income, it's going to be 1152 if we divided it evenly. But that doesn't usually work out, right? Because you can't pay half of a bill on one card and half of a bill on another card. So you'll have to adjust a little bit what expenses you put on which card and what income you're going to put on one card. Now, rule of thumb for me, the higher card, I'm going to put more income onto that card of my income that I have to split up, the 2300 or the 2308. So in this case, I'm going to put 1200 on the $8,900 card, and I'm going to put 1108, which is the remainder, onto my 5360, all right, which drops my balance to 7700 and 4252. So now I have to figure out, well, what income, what expenses am I going to run on these cards? All right, so let's say, here is where you have to figure things out. You kind of have to look at your bills and decide how you're going to split it, right? So in this case, if I have 1828 to work with, maybe what I'll do is I'll put 1,000 on this card, and I'll put 828, or maybe I'll put 1,028 on here and 800 on here. So let's just try that. Let's just try, what if we did 1,028, okay, for our expenses here. Whoops, we'll use our correct color. So we're going to add in 1,028, let's say. And again, you have to look at your bills and you'll have to split them up. So 1,028 on there. And then we're going to put 800 then over here. I think that's right? So 1828. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to put 800 in expenses here, 1,028 here. So we're going to split them up, like I said. Now we have to figure out what our interest is. Okay, so how do we do that? Well, remember, we're going to take our high balance plus our low balance. And this one, okay, the 8,900 is our 23% card. And this one is a 22% card. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my 8,900 and I am going to add my high balance plus my low balance, the 7,700, which gives me 16,600. And I'm going to divide that by 2 to give me 8,300, which is my average. Okay, so 8,300. And then I'm going to multiply that by my interest rate, the 23%, which gives me 1,909. And then I'm going to divide that by 12 to give me 1 month's worth of interest. And in this case, I'm getting 159. Okay, so 159. So I got to add that back in. All right, so we'll just calculate that again really quick. 8,900 plus 7,700 equals 1,660 divided by 2 equals 8,300. Multiply that by our interest, divide it by 12. Yep, same number. Good. That's good. That's a good thing. Okay, so now we do the same thing for the other card, right? So we take our high balance, the 5,360. We add it to the 4,252, which gives us 9,612. Divide that by 2, which gives us 4,806. Multiply that by our interest rate, which gives me 1057. Divide that by 12, which gives me 88. Okay, so this one's going to be 88. All right, so we're going to see if this combination here is going to work out. because there are times when it doesn't work out and you have to adjust your numbers. So we're going to look at this and we're going to work it out. Or maybe if I can get my pen cap off. All right, let's do that. So what do we have? We have 7,700 plus 1,028 plus 159 equals. All right, so what does it equal? So this is 8887. All right, now here's where we do our checks, right? 88, so 8,887, is it less than or equal to the 8,900? Is it less than, or I should say more than, okay? So in this case, it's a little bit less. It's not a lot less, it's a little bit less. So this situation will work out. Okay, so 8,900 minus the 8,887, it gives us $13, right? So we're $13 that we're, that we've worked our balance down here. So we probably would want to adjust our numbers even more. So not 1028. So maybe it's going to be 1100. Okay. Or, so, you're going to have to adjust your expenses or your income. You're going to have to adjust them one way or another. All right. So that's just how you guys do it. So on this side, what does it look like? Okay. So if we take our 4252 and you add the 800 and you add the 88, this equals 5140. So this one here, we're working it down, faster than the other side. I would be adjusting this because this one is more and it's at a higher interest rate. So I'm going to want to make probably some more adjustments. Either I'm going to bring in more income or I'm going to cut the expenses a little bit more that I put on that card to make them more even. Because at this point, the 5360 minus the 5140, so I'm working this card down by 220 and this down by 13, right? So you want to flip-flop that if you can. You want to work down that bigger card faster, even because it's also at a higher interest rate. So that's how you guys look at the multiple card strategy and start splitting it up. You're going to have to look at your bills and adjust things. It's not difficult, right? It's not difficult. It just takes a little work to get it going. So when you're running a velocity banking strategy and you have cards that are maxed, okay, and they're, and you're worried about micropaying or it's harder for you to micropay, then you can always run a split card strategy and take your income, split it up in a way that makes sense and in a way that's going to work, because you will have to do the math on it to figure out if it's going to work. But again, you will work down your debts faster. We know it'll work down your debts faster by running velocity banking. Again, it's all about the average daily balance and dropping that average daily balance by putting more income into that card than you would if it was at the regular, traditional payment amount. So traditionally, putting 220 on this card isn't going to work it down as fast as dropping that balance much faster by putting a larger portion of income into it so that it averages better for you. I hope you guys have learned something today. I hope you've learned a little bit more about the split card strategy and how to calculate it, how to look at it, and know that larger amount, that larger balance, you're going to want to work that one down faster. If you can do it with one card, we always prefer that, but this works too. And don't forget, you guys, we have our course out there for you. We teach this in the course. We teach you how to do the multiple card strategy. You get the app that comes with that to help you calculate all of this so it's easier for you. That can be found in the description below, along with our cheat sheet, so that you can calculate your available income and your chargeable expenses. It just makes it that much easier for you, and you are able to calculate things faster. You're able to figure it out much quicker by getting our cheat sheets and learning velocity banking. Have a great day, you guys, and I will see you in the next video.